Hey guys, it's Vera Sweeney from Permission to Hustle, and today's podcast is actually inspired by something that I saw on Facebook. And to be honest with you, it was a pretty personal update from someone that was a friend of mine. So I am going to leave it quite anonymous, but the long short of it was someone within an industry was making another member of the same industry feel less than. And I'm going to leave the story out, but basically the thought process was that someone was taking another person's power away, her self-worth away, her value away. And that really resonated with me. And it sat with me because, to be honest with you, I was sort of struggling with that same concept this week as well on a very personal level. And I discussed something very similar to that on my personal wall, speaking about my father. And my father's not in my life. He hasn't been in my life for over a decade. And sometimes that stings. Sometimes I'm reminded by that fact. And this week I've been struggling with that fact a little bit. And it's sort of slowing me down, if I'm being really honest with you. And when I saw this woman, a friend of mine, talk about how she feels less than in her industry, in her business world, because another member in her space is telling her that she has less worth. It struck me. It struck me how we as a society, how we as women allow other people to devalue us so quickly, and how we suddenly lose our self-worth so quickly because we put so much of ourselves in other people's hands. And, we do that personally, we do that professionally, we do that in every sense of the word, in every angle. And like I said, I was dealing with that on a personal level and a family level. And I had a girlfriend of mine that was dealing with that in a professional level. And it just so happened to coincide. We just so happened to be living, on different planes, but at the same moment, struggling with the same thing. And I had to marinate with that for a minute or two because, we're all human. And whether or not we like to admit it, we all deal with the same things in different variations. And so I said, well, what can we learn from this? What can we, as a group of women and men trying to sort of get through this crazy thing called life, what can we learn from this? How can we take back control and take back power? And what's the lesson here? Because no matter what we do, there always has to be a lesson, right? Every struggle, every hit, every blow, every fail, every fall, there has to be a lesson. So that's how I view it. Everything that has ever happened to me in my life, good or bad, it has to have happened for a reason. I have to believe that. And so my lesson this week was I give too freely the power to take away power. And I think that lesson, I wanted you to hear that as well, just in case you feel that people can so easily devalue you. Do you let people devalue you? Do you let people take away your self-worth? Do you look at someone's success and suddenly you feel less successful? Do you listen to criticism from naysayers, from your audience, from your peers, from your bosses even? And do you suddenly feel less than instantaneously? Do you absorb that until it blackens your soul? And really step back and think about how soft you are in the sense that you don't have a strong self-worth. And I think above all else, that's something that everyone really needs to work on. When we're little, and I see this still because I have littles. My children, they are kings and queens, and they're slaying dragons. And you can't jump off that couch. Watch me, mom. No, you're gonna hurt yourself. Don't do that. Oh my gosh, please don't do that. Watch me. There is no can't. But a side eye from a peer, and suddenly I can't. And I think that that's something that has been taught to us over the decades. Maybe it's the media telling me I'm not good enough, I'm not skinny enough, I'm not pretty enough, shoving that down our throats. But whatever it is, we have been battered, and I don't think we can handle a lot anymore. And I think we really need to start working on ourselves before we can start working on our businesses. And so to hear my friend she was really shook. She was really taken aback by this criticism, and she was really devalued instantaneously by words. And I have yet to reach out to her, but it made me really think about how much control people have over us. Why do we let people have so much control over us? Why do we let people have so much control over our emotions? And quite frankly, why do we let these people continue to be in our lives? If they are not good people, why do we let them surround us? So these are just things that I want you to think about. Consider working on yourself in order to higher value your business. In order to better your business, begin from within. Begin strengthening your core, your personal core, your personal values, your personal growth, and then everything else will follow. To follow us more, check out Instagram, Permission to Hustle, and on Twitter, we are Audrey and Vera. Until next time.